Good morning, 8th grade. What's going on? Problem of the day is on the board. Hit pause, copy everything down, and give it a try. This one's a little bit tricky because I mixed some things together that we learned. And see if you can figure it out. All right, so take a look at this. We have to look, remember, we're trying to find ones with the same variable, right? So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the top first. And if I look at the top, I can see that I can combine these two together. X to the 5th and x to the 4th. We know if we're multiplying, we just add the exponents. So now on the top, I have x to the 9th, m to the 6th. I put multiplication symbols in here. We don't always need those. If they're touching each other, it means multiply. Let's take a look at the bottom. I see I have an m to the 3rd and just a regular m, which we know is m to the 1. So that would be m to the 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. Now we're dividing exponents that have the same base, right? So these have the same base. They both have x for a base. So I do 9 minus 3 is 6. And then these, same thing, same base. 6 minus 4 is m to the 2. And then we cannot combine those two together. They have different bases, so that's just the best we can get. All right, so that's our problem of the day, not too hard. Today's notes is exponents of exponents. So what that means is you would have something that looks like this. X to the 4th to the 3rd. Now when you have exponents of exponents, so think about this. When we're multiplying them, we add the exponents. When we're dividing, we subtract the exponents. In here, we're going to actually multiply the exponents. So for exponents of exponents, put a big star there. You're going to multiply. So this is pretty simple. 4 times 3, x to the 12th. Pretty easy, right? And here what we're doing is we're just simplifying these, right? There's some of them where they're going to ask you to evaluate them. So say I had 2 to the 2nd to the 3rd. So to simplify that, I would do 2 times 3, which would end up being 2 to the 6th. So this is simplifying. And if they ask you to evaluate it, I would have to do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? And I just like to do it like this. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. All right, so that's my evaluation would be 64. Simplifying would be 2 to the 6th. All right, so pretty easy stuff so far. Nothing that crazy. Exponent of an exponent, you multiply. Let's look at what happens if we throw a negative in there. So we have to remember our negative rules from back in 7th grade. So say they gave me x to the 2 to the negative 3. So now we got to start thinking about, I have a positive times a negative. And we remember from last year that a positive times a negative is going to equal a negative, right? So 2 times negative 3, this answer is going to be x to the negative 6th. But we never want negatives left in our exponents. So we're going to continue to simplify that. We know to get rid of the negative, we move it to the bottom, right? Remember this? I'm going to move this whole thing to the bottom and make this positive. Then we put our 1 on top. So remember, if you have negative exponent, doesn't mean negative. It means it's moving to the other side of the fraction. Can't forget that. What if they were both negative? What if I had m to the negative fourth to the negative fifth? What do we do there? Well, we got to think back to 7th grade. A negative times a negative is going to equal a positive, right? So negative 4 times negative 5, positive 20. And that's as far as we need to go. That's about all we're going to do today that's new. I don't want to have too long of lessons. I don't want to confuse you with too many things at once. So we're going to stick with this today. And we're going to give some of these a try. Remember, if you end up with a negative exponent, I want you to continue to simplify it. So move it to the bottom and make it positive. All right? And we'll do a couple bonus problems today where I mix in some of these with some of these. And we'll see how that works out for you guys, okay? All right. You guys have a great day. And no video on Wednesday, just an assignment on Wednesday, okay? So we'll see you again for another video on Thursday. Have a great day, 8th grade.